Okay, very good. Well, good evening, everyone. Thanks for coming tonight. So, I have the pleasure of helping with this planning, and I am Cindy Mon, and I've been helping Bragg create this conference tonight. And I am here to introduce Nate Stireman. Nate is a holistic land steward, mentor, and agricultural producer at Steep Mountain Farms in Wellsville, which I found out is my neighbor, which is really exciting. His work is a wide-ranging background in landscaping, carpentry, permaculture design, and wilderness guiding, and with a deep commitment to regenerative agriculture and community connection. And as for me, I am personally connected to this subject because I have a Native American bloodline, and sustainability is like our second hand, our second nature. So I'm really excited that this is becoming such a big topic, and I'm excited to hear tonight's presenters. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Cindy. I would actually invite everybody to remove their shoes with me if you would like. Cindy just reminded me, as I just met her earlier, that when we lost our connection to Earth and probably each other when we started wearing shoes. So just let's be grounded and a little bit more connected with one another and the Earth. Take a nice deep breath as well. Yeah, I'm Nate Stireman, founder and land steward at Steep Mountain Farm, and I'd like to just thank the planners for this event for highlighting this kind of thing here, like bringing in agriculture and community and our relationship. Yeah. Let's see here. I need to get on the same page. It's my thing. So a little bit about myself. Although I'm not big on labels and titles, I recently dubbed myself holistic land steward practitioner. It's a mouthful, but I think it fits. And it only took me about 10 years to figure out what the hell exactly I'm doing here. So that seems to fit better for me. Farmer and rancher have just never seemed to sit right with me. Is that too loud? Is that okay? Um, I'm a whole systems thinker, knowledgeable about many things, expert at nothing. Um, which, by the way, I really appreciated was those cool. A lot of those released, just collective thinking and collective pride and community. The work I do at Steep Mountain Farm is multifaceted, as you'll see in this presentation, which is why I love it. My calling to work with the earth and soil largely comes from my realization many years ago in my late teens and early 20s that how we interact and care for the land is a reflection of how we interact and care for ourselves. I was seeking a piece of land to connect with when I was about 20 years old. I didn't know exactly what that would look like or how it would play out, but I knew that it was important to me. But really, I'm just here to live, learn, love, screw around, and not be taken too seriously. Surely, you've heard the saying, behind every successful farmer is a wife that works in town. Yeah, there's a lot of truth to this, and besides Tara's ability to make a farm income as a stellar mental health therapist, this is to me, if you don't recognize him from photos, she is also largely involved on the farm and has been primarily caring for one of our animals. Her preferred title is penultimate land steward practitioner. Um, it's unfortunate this saying holds so much truth, and farming is generally not much of a viable career option, which we don't imagine is either. But trying to do a good farm doing anyway. I would say if we could afford it, that she would be a full-time farmer and do a little therapy on the side. She would be the full-time only level cheesemaker, farmer, and fermenter. I prefer that this statement read, behind every successful farm is a strong community, because there's more truth to that. So Steep Mountain Farm is located in Cache Valley in Wellsville, on the base of the steep, iconic Wellsville Mountains, one of the ancestral homelands of the northwest band of the Shoshone people. We're right off the highway on the east side, just above the Little Bear River. You'll see in this presentation, I'm not just going to talk about farming and farm practices. I'm going to cover a broad range of topics. Um, we'll especially be looking at relationships, what the state of our relationships are, not just with land, food, and community, but also with finance, economy, environment, themselves. I know I'm married to a therapist. Spent years working in therapy, so the relationships are important. Um, as Cindy said, I spent years working in wilderness therapy from like 2003 to about 2011, which is one area where I spent a lot of time in wilderness and connecting to land and people. Also getting to know myself a little bit better. So um, also I'm an earth worker first, not much of a PowerPoint creative presenter, so I'm going to flip through. I'm mostly a guide to keep me on track and hopefully tell a story through fun pictures. And as you can tell, I'm probably going to lean on my notes. Presentation agenda, vision of Steep Mountain Farm, stewardship practices, community engagement, and the importance of agriculture and community development, which I think is really why we're here at this conference and talking about this. So just a little bit about the lanes. Does this have a laser pointer? Um, so we steward 16 acres of land. We started with 11 originally in 2015, which is in blue square. And then later in 2021, we added 5 more acres from reservoirs. And we use that for additional veg production and growing our own alfalfa for the sheep and goats. It happened to come with a rental home as well, which is a great asset, but it kind of sucks because it's a lot of responsibility and it's expensive. That's the rental house right there. There's an additional 5 acres. Just a little bit of the lay of the land. This is the 11 acres. That's our home site. We house volunteers over here close to the home site. We have our kitchen garden right outside our front door, mostly for personal stuff. We've got a high tunnel number 1 that we built in 2017. High tunnel number 2 that we built 20, 23, 2023. The animal shelter slash barn slash container, we call it Sharn. This is a shipping container barn, Sharn, that we built in 2016. One of the first things we built. And then just last year we finished building this little kind of big 30 barn to store more hay. We were tired of building our tops and that we got doggy, so let's see. Okay. Property and surrounding land was historically used and stewarded by the Shoshone people. Since settlers' land has been passed through several hands, broken up, parsed out, and flamed. It's mostly flat ground, and it has outside about a 35-foot drop that goes down to some ponds and lands in the bottom. That red line is the hillside. It really breaks things up. Things about upper pasture, pasture and hillside. You can see these indicate paddocks where we graze sheep and goats. And then on the woods, we have some agriculture through here too. But, it's our rotational grazing plan, and we randomize it. It's not just always the same pattern at the same time of year. We hold property gets grazed, it's one than another, but at different times. We don't graze this, except for right now we have Thanksgiving turkeys. You know, we got our last cutting of hay, so we're in the fourth cutting of the turkeys. The turkeys are on it. Good protein for them. Land ownership versus land stewardship. You probably noticed that I don't refer to myself as a land owner. Um, it says that outside in the thing, Steep Mountain Farm. Yeah, I own Steep Mountain Farm, but I don't think that I own the land. Um, I think we tend to get greedy when we own things. We hold on to things tightly, and we tend to not care them very well. It becomes the mine mentality. Um, I think greed is embedded in our financial system, and we've commoditized and monetized nearly everything, including land, water, and air. These resources have become a commodity to be used, abused, and exploited, creating very little reciprocity and engagement. They live in breathing entities who are closely connected to and interdependent with. When we steward the land and natural resources, we're more likely to have a reciprocal relationship with them. We tend to them like a relative and in return, they nurture us. So, while we may carry the title and the mortgage to the land at Steep Mountain Farm, the illusion of ownership doesn't resonate with us. And as the native American proverb states, we do not inherit the land from our ancestors, we inherit it from our children. So, yeah, how do you wish to pass the land on to your children? In my case, my nephews. And just, by the way, I just notice how you feel when you see these photos. Like, just for me, I feel nice when I see that. I don't feel so nice when I see that. It's kind of warm. I mean, let's just notice, like, pay attention, notice anything that comes up. Okay, next slide. So we do Steep Mountain Farm. I don't know that I did this in order, and I'm just going to explain what the hell we do at Steep Mountain Farm. Um, so to date, we've been operating on a community supported agriculture model of sorts. Not really your traditional CSA model, where you buy a subscription and you get so many weeks of veggies throughout the season. That's fun for them. Rather, it's similar, but I want people to pull it from function, and then they can use that credit however they want, whenever they want, when we have stuff available. So it gives people subscribers and us a lot more flexibility, and we can, if we don't want to sell, if we don't want to do orders 1 week, we can say we don't want to take orders. It gives people subscribers the ability to choose what they want. And they can also use that, you share chickens, to expand chickens, if they want cookies, um, we grow a broad range of fruits and veggies, and we raise Nigerian dwarf goats for dairy. Only about 15. Nigerian dwarf goats was champagne of milk. It's so good, so rich and creamy. We have about 12 breeding sheep for lamb and meat, and they are painted as a blue sheep. They don't need to be sheared. So and we maintain about 15 heritage turkeys, which each around 35 pounds, which become meat birds in the spring. Heritage birds are more of a natural breed of turkey that take on about 7 to 8 months to go to a butcher weight. So when they're hatched into June, July, and August, they're not ready by Thanksgiving. So we're doing things in springtime. Um, We raise broad-breasted bright birds, about 75 a year. Those are used for Thanksgiving birds, and then we do some that we cut up and grind and breast meat and with other things. So we have a couple of butcher dates coming up, which is a fun thing for us. It's all volunteer based. It's me and Tom and people. Jeff started showing up. Um, yeah, it's a really solid core team. Let's say that otherwise be a really daunting and dirty project. Fun because there's community and friends. Let's see here. I just, yeah, the heritage birds on the land are especially sustainable for us because they are born and watched in farm and they die on farm. It's really a closed loop where was we used to do beef cattle. We don't have the infrastructure to keep a bull and the heifer. Like we got a small barn that we built when we moved there, and it's just not big enough. And we don't have a squeeze chute. No cows. Tried that for a little while, and it's too much. Too hard to do along that care, and it's just not sustainable. So, anyway, small animals is a jam. And yeah, I mean it's closed loop. We even use the blood as blood now. We compost their entrails, so nothing is wasted on the farm. It stays on the farm, cycled back into the earth. We also have about 130 egg-laying chickens, and they move around and they build fresh pastures, spreading fertility. We also raise about 200 roaster chickens in the spring, 75 meat birds in the fall, which we share with friends, family, volunteers, and CSA members. Our livestock tends to be pre-sold through shares, while veggies and eggs are more widely available to the public through custom ordering online and picking up a delivery location or home delivery. Yeah, so that's how we've done it so far. We haven't done farmers markets yet, although if we can grow, expand the help and resources that we need, that's something that we would like to do on the road. And there's a lot of potential for income and revenue there. It's just it's been hard to digest the idea of working all week and harvesting Friday and going to a farmer's market on Saturday, and then we get more day off. If we take that day off, so we can choose when we and that's our model. What else do we do? We invite community to engage and interact with the land and farm. We host volunteers through WOOF, which is Worldwide Opportunities on Organic Farms. It's an online form, and also word of mouth locally. And we work with the USU and other schools and programs, doing anything from education outdoors to mentorship programs. We invite people who want to connect with land and food. Trade goods for volunteer services. We do as much trading as we can. It's nice to keep the dollar out of it. So pretty much all volunteer based. Farm experiences are also offered through the HIP Camp platform. People can camp on our land and to get farm tour. Um, the whole system regenerative agriculture just naturally attracts people. And people that are on farm are just welcoming and inviting, so people tend to come. You want to come and visit, hang out, especially during baby goat and lamb season. And so, not so much in this slide, but in a lot of the slides, there's all the opening notes. And we host small music events sometimes, not so much this year, but in the past few years, we've hosted hundreds of music events through the summer. To bring community together, have fun, and meet local musicians and artists. And yeah, Paramount is really one of music, so it's nice to list that on the phone. Oh yeah, and we even invite simple, low cost, no frills weddings. We had one last year, and it was a hoot. We had a great time, and didn't have to pay fortune for it at the event center. I picked them up in the tractor, carried them to their cave, and like it. It's super fun. Uh, Ecosystem services, that's a huge thing I do at Steep Mountain Farm. That's kind of the bread and butter of it. That's everything comes after the ecosystem services to us. They prioritize soil health and build soil by rotating crops and animals. Use of cover crops, sheet mulching, using low till, low disturbance approach to minimize soil biology disruption. And we generate our own compost and blood meal. There's very little waste on the farm, as I said before. And very few inputs, external inputs. Um, yeah, I mean, we bring in like a gallon of fish fertilizer in a season, and chicken feed. Chicken feed is an absolutely an input because chicken's fertility is really high. There's a lot of effective chicken manure with importing feed. We're actually importing nutrients for the soil. Like when we put a tract of poultry somewhere in the pasture, the regrowth on that pasture is so lush and green. So poultry, they're great for nutrient cycling, but it is one of the inputs. We promote biodiversity by planting a broad range of tree and shrub species. In 10 years, we've planted several thousand bare root perennials, some food producing, others purely for habitat and shade. Interplant veggie crops and interseed pastures to increase diversity. The latest research would demonstrate that animals fed a diverse pastured diet have a lot more nutrients in their meat. Maybe some of you already know that. It seems like um, in turn that ends up in our bodies when we consume these animals that we raise this way. And not surprising, when we consume a diverse whole foods diet, meat is pretty nutritious. Yeah, it's not what it seems. All of our livestock, including sheep, goats, chickens, and turkeys, are located throughout the farm on fresh pastures to suck nutrients and beneficially impact the soil and plant health. We've witnessed the soil and plant health improve, increase in diversity with interseeding, and weed pressure has gone down significantly. We've seen in of the farm. It's with persistence and rotational grazing, actually go down. We're still working on brandy, that one. That's not good bad, but luckily, it's not to eat it, so we can time when we grows the onions to control that weed seed and from keeping it from out of control. All these practices lend themselves to an increase in habitat from soil microbes and mycelium to wildlife and snakes, frogs, birds, butterflies, pollinators, etc. We're seeing diversity on the farm these days. Of course, with good comes the bad, but there seems to be a pretty good balance. When we discover a pest, it seems to not matter us as much as it once did. Raining turkeys do a pretty good job keeping grasshoppers at bay as well. I think part of that, the pests, there's more balance um, when we let the balance be. We don't disrupt the cycle. I think there's the balance, but I think it's also largely just a paradigm. Like when you focus on bad, you're going to focus on the bad. That's what you're going to pay attention to. Um, you're going to see what you want to see. So I tend to just embrace it. So we're going to share. We're going to share the best, and eventually it will be balanced. And yeah, if we um, have holy cow, it's too little to sell. So what? We've got other crops. We're so diversified that we've got other crops that didn't get too little to sell. So diversity in the systems. And, yeah, our primary approach can be described with two words: love and gratitude. Uh, when we love something or someone, we want to take care of them, right? Right. And we love the earth, we love our community, we love our animals and plants. We're grateful for life. Animal welfare is extremely important to us. They're our family, and we give so much. And yes, I do have my own animals, and it's not easy. I do it. I get to do it with honor and love and respect. I feel pretty good about that. Um, yeah, we used to send our animals to the butcher because it was too much work. We're not efficient at it. Um, but one of the reasons that we stopped doing that is because we send these animals that we've poured all this love into, and they've lived such a good life on our farm. And their last 24 or 48 hours are spent in this nasty, uncomfortable, unfamiliar feed lot, but butcher shop, waiting to get killed. And in these places you can smell fear and death, and you don't know how the butcher's going to handle them, if they're going to dispatch them with love and care. So we have to keep everything on the farm. It also gives us the ability to have control over how we process. We save the blood, we compost all the entrails, we use with our needs. We try to use every last bit, but even if we don't use it directly, it's composted, so it's not wasted. All right, so then we'll back up before how we started this whole thing. Um, Steam Out Farm was founded and purchased in 2015 by three individuals with minimal agriculture experience who shared the values of ecologically responsible land stewarding practices. And those three people were myself, my wife, Tara, and the family who's no longer involved in the operation. Cooperatively, purchasing land seemed to be the only way to entry at the time for us. I'm very grateful that we were able to pull together financial resources. As being first generation farmers with limited resources, we banded together to purchase 11 acres of grass pasture with this iconic view of the steep Wellsville Mountains. It reminds us that we have something much bigger. Every day, it reminds us, and as it never gets old. I can't tell how many things in like they have. Everywhere. And it looks different all the time. Every season it's different. There's snow on it. The leaves are orange and yellow, and they're all covered in snow. Yeah, so seasons are beautiful. Um, what else? Yeah, so there was just a home, shed, and a little chicken coop on the farm when we bought it. But we had big plans to change that in a long list of elements that we wanted to add to the blank canvas. 10 years later, we've added a few. There's still a long list of wish list. Um, Showed interest in working with nature to develop a productive, healthy agricultural ecosystem. Weekly came from.
If you guys need to go a little bit over time, you guys can.
Oh, phew.
Sorry.
What time is it?
Something.
Okay, cool. To speed this up a little bit. I'm gonna get to the good stuff. Um, yeah. So anyway, naturally came from a lot of time spent outdoors when creating and observing nature. We wanted to be a closed whole systems design with a resiliency in mind, not to be confused with self-sufficiency or independence. Community and relationships are essential to resiliency. Um, so it was important from the beginning that we share our experience. Why else Cache Valley? Basically because of that. We like to ski. And um, of course, the agricultural land, the soil in Cache Valley is rich and prime. So it was a mix of a lot of things why we landed in Cache Valley. Yeah, it's not far from my home too in Davis County. Slow, intentional growth. Our approach is beginning farmers and stewards on a blank canvas. Before making significant changes to the land, we sat with it. Not for long enough, but we sat with it and observed while creating a design plan, taking all things into consideration, including resource nutrient flow, sun angles, proximities, views, neighbors, etc. Like installing a kitchen garden right outside the door, placing animal infrastructure close but not far enough, keeping our bigger gardens and high tunnels in close proximity to ensure frequent visitation. In 2015, shortly after moving here, we salvaged a barn in Richmond, anticipating the need for lumber. So the top left is the barn. We tore that down and built that upright barn, ungate barn. And yeah, so basically, lots of repurposing, budgeting, um, slow growth. I started planting trees as soon as we could in the spring of 2016 and have since planted thousands. Um, Started with small gardens, expanded a little bit each year to where we're at now. Yeah, starting the farm on a shoestring because we didn't come into land. We had to start fresh, starting blank canvas, and we dumped everything we had into it to acquire land. Yeah, so starting the farm period these days. If you're not gifted land, if you're not wealthy, how? There's so many barriers to entry for new or beginning farmers, and they're becoming more and more all the time in our current system, where land is viewed as a commodity and the speculative real estate market creates ridiculously high prices. Starting on a farm on a shoestring requires frugality, ingenuity, creativity, DIYing, slow growth, and starting small. It also requires a lot of support from your friends. There are many helpful resources and hacks for developing a new farm operation, though. The NRCS has been very helpful for us. They've helped fund both of our high tunnels and plant thousands of trees and shrub species. We've been enrolled in their environmental quality incentive program and conservation stewardship program, which has been tremendous. We've also received small grants from Slow Food Utah and the Pollinator Habitat Program. Recently awarded a grant through the Southwest Regional Business Builder to build a dedicated veggie wash, pack, and processing area, although the funding is frozen. So we hope to commence building that this next spring. The grants are not necessary. They sure help move things forward and increase efficiency. Other hacks for starting, using volunteers and work trades, planting $3 to $35 burdock trees rather than large expensive trees, buying used equipment, tools, sourcing stuff from the old farmer we worked with in southern Utah. Generous man, he gave us a lot of stuff to get us started. Where our guiding principles come from, regenerative, holistic management principles, and we draw from indigenous wisdom for guidance on how to honor and live in relationship to land and earth. Combined with modern science and technology, we have the ingredients for a harmonious existence with our surroundings. We also listen carefully and use intuition to guide our decisions and actions. Lots of observation and paying attention, listening to the land. Permaculture. It's cool. It's just another term for systems thinking and being in relation to land, I think. It's a whitewash term. Like a white man came in and dubbed like being in relation to land permaculture. But there's a lot of fun techniques and design designs using permaculture practices. I mean, yeah, there's some good stuff going on like kilos and swells and agriculture. So, yeah, and then also just whole systems closed loop approach, how inputs come together to create the whole. You gotta love the good old quote, the whole is greater than the sum of the parts. And I think culture has largely forgotten this. Holistic management is Savory's term for system for managing livestock herds for optimizing beneficial impact. He has years of experience demonstrating significant positive impact when animals are managed properly. Gabe Bam is another one, North Dakota. Lots of years of experience demonstrating positive animal impact. And then there's just the human scale of things, keeping things human scale, human powered, so that we have less impact on the earth, and it's not so expensive. We have small machinery, two-wheel drive, two-wheel tractor that does a lot of our work, and we use a lot of hand tools in our gardens. We do have a tractor that helps us out a lot when we need it, but we don't have a whole bunch of implements. We use the Logan and use it to carry things around the farm, move snow. Um, let's see. Overall, we generally avoid the labels at Steep Mount Farm, organic, regenerative, permaculture, holistic management, all those things. Really, what I find to be the best guidance is my heart and intuition. And that's formed by my own experiences and a variety of diverse perspectives and experience. What's more important to me is that we are listening, connecting, and relating to land, food, and community. We don't have to use labels when we know who's growing our food and how we're doing it. Although we are working with the POPS program, transition to organic leadership program, to become certified First Fast Farm mentors with that. Great folks. That's been fun, and they kind of just dished it out to us. You want to be certified organic? If there's funding and assistance available, sure, why not? We don't really need it because everybody that buys from us knows us pretty well. That might not always be the case. What motivates us? Yeah, why farm? Why produce food this way? Why keep it local? Why design agri-centric communities? I believe most people can answer these questions for themselves. It's likely in your hearts and in your bones why it might do this. But for me personally, it's because I prefer to live in abundance and beauty, resiliently, not in scarcity and fear. I prefer to live in deep connection, connected relationship to land, food, and community. I choose health over disease, and I want the community to have access to all these things too. It's insane that we export the majority of the calories we produce in this valley from commodity crops and non-consumables just to import the majority of food we buy at the store. It's not food secure, and it doesn't lend itself towards food resiliency, general. Um, we steward land and farm this way because it's rewarding and beautiful. It's a connected, harmonious way to live. The hidden costs of imported food are not worth it. We don't really fear because the system is on the brink of collapse. Although, if that's what motivates one to change the trajectory, by all means. Today and future plans. Seamount Farm would like to continue to grow as a community asset and reach more people through events, workshops, and educational experiences. There's a lot of room to expand veg production on the farm, and we wish to provide additional nutrient-dense food to the community. We could significantly expand our reach with farm store and farmers markets, as I stated before, with the help of a garden manager of sorts, or a partnership. I don't know about that. That's basically what it is. Future goals of food production, expansion, community inclusion, farm store, education and training. And we really want to focus on land access for new and interested farmers and stewards and transitioning land into the hands of others in the community. And we need additional help and resources to accomplish all this, though. And we're currently trying to get creative on how. which we'll discuss more in a minute. We also hope to preserve the land's healthy, productive greenscape, as it's what we want people to experience and see when they drive into the valley. We'd like to continue to be an example of what is possible in Utah. Whereas these goals are going to require community, creativity, ingenuity, and investment, and perhaps new ways of looking at things. Where from here? So I'm already getting tired, and I'm only 43. There's a problem here. Um, but there's also so much potential at Steep Mountain Farm and in this valley. The 10 years that we've lived on the farm, we've largely just put our heads down and grinded and neglected ourselves. I know I have personally. I've neglected myself a lot in the last 10 years, trying to bring that back and not do that so much. Both a lot of infrastructure and recognizing the community now. We'd like to take it to the next level, and we just can't really run without eliminating major parts of the system, such as eliminating animals altogether. We definitely don't want to do that because our whole design is animal whole systems. So if you take a part out of the system, it's not a whole anymore. So I'm not a big fan of that. We'd be able to accomplish some different things. We're at a point where we'd like to invite others and to help level up Steep Mountain Farm and realize its potential. And I don't want to find ourselves running out and burning out like so many middle-aged and old farmers today. We're interested in taking different roles going forward, and we're not attached to land ownership. We'd like to make room for others to step in. We'd rather start this transition now and find out what's possible before we just get old and crusty. If it's not too late. But I want to keep this focus on how the community is going forward, not just Steep Mountain Farm. Steep Mountain Farm is at risk of being sold and developed in the future just like any other land in the valley. Many landowners don't want to see their land developed because they simply can't afford to keep it. And they don't have successors that keep farming it. You all know this story. It's familiar, right? It's not new. And I get it. Like, who really wants to farm like that anymore? That lonely type of farming, monocrop, so your tractor will be cut hay. That's boring. I like this kind of farming. It's fun. It's surrounded by community. It's fun, and I see why young farmers are leaning towards this type of farming because there's more farmers that want to be respected. People that grow up on a farm, kind of heavy, corn, growing, cropping, being one thing, growing alone. It's no wonder why people are begging out and done. Moving on. The bees. Just so we're losing farmland, we're losing farmers. There's new farmers coming in. Yeah. And of course, you heard the rates of suicide and depression among farmers and ranchers. It's sad because the type of farming is lonely. But there may be some beautiful paths forward. So, what I have to share next is an idea that seems to be gaining traction fast, and for good reasons. And it's also becoming a reality in parts of our country and even our region. Let's see here, where are we on the right side? All right, so that's me. That's Tara on some views, although she's usually pretty spry looking good. And then that's that person, that person stoked and eager to be looking. They're so stoked and eager. Cooperation, community, curiosity. It may come up to no surprise that I see cooperation and collaboration as a solution. After all, that was how we entered the world of farming, Dusty Mountain Farm. And community and social engagement has always been important to me. Enter community land trusts and collaborative farming. It's an idea that has been with me ever since I wanted to buy land with family and friends in my early 20s. Since the advent of land ownership, land structures and approaches to co-owning land have been tried, some successful, some not so much. And I think that the difficulty comes with the illusion of land ownership itself, but with the fact that land is commodified and part of the speculative market. Folks be getting rich off the land. Right? But that's where we're at, and I'm comforted. I am comforted with the fact that I've been hearing more people talk about land access recently and finding better solutions. People are figuring out how to structure community and cooperative land holdings within the current system. I would love to see collaborative farm projects in the valley. I'm ultimately interested in transitioning our entire 16 to farming to a cooperatively owned and managed operation or collaboration project or community farm. We currently have the 2.4 acre lot and home available to transition immediately. If we can find ourselves in the right company and right situation, yeah. Otherwise, we can't afford it, or we're going to sell it right in the speculative market. And I'm not so what happens to that land. It's okay. The classic old story about a more right far around. Well, yeah, there's a lot of potential. There's a lot of potential there with the house, a lot of room to grow veggies. We have close access and visibility to the highway. It's adjacent to the main farm, and we have a lot of fun community facing ideas. Cache Valley is growing very fast. I've seen it since I've been coming to this valley as a kid, especially the past 10 years since I resided here. It's exponential in growth. Uh, we have and are losing a lot of farmland all the time. There's still a lot of undeveloped, and I see it as an opportunity to make a shift towards developing with intent and relationship in mind. Well, I swear we're almost done here. See people starting to doze off. I might have to skip this slide. It's a long one. Um, Basically, this is just there's a lot of young beginning farmers out there that are desperate to work land, and there's old farmers that want out, and there's ways to bridge that gap and make the connection. Um, yeah, let's let people who want to work the earth work the earth, the eager, just like we were 15 years ago. One cool thing going on. Alana Raftziger, she's here tonight. She'll be doing a presentation tomorrow. Um, I met Alana a few years ago, became friends with her when she was in the landscape architecture program at USC, and I was fortunate enough to witness her thesis defense. And I got to say, it really struck a tone for me. It's one example of this topic coming up, not just in my inner circle, but it's circulating around. And it's promising to me that it will manifest in good time. Basically, land trust, affordable housing and agriculture, and yeah, housing and food security are both an issue in the U.S. and we're not exempt here in Utah. You can learn more about Alana's thesis and what she has up her sleeve with this community design plan that incorporates agriculture and affordable housing. She'll be doing her presentation tomorrow at 11 in Alabama. And by the way, Alana's also running for Logan mayor. She's a badass. And then this guy, I can't wait to hear your presentation tomorrow and learn more about what you've got going on because I think it's important work that you're doing. From what I understand, Philip Gleason, founder of the Riverbed Ranch. I bring this up just because there's not a whole lot of examples in Utah and the region of people doing cooperatively owned projects and Phillips on. I already, I think I already said that. What do you want to do? But now, yeah. So how do we really get there? So, um, I don't believe we can just start adding a little garden plot and green space here and there in our new developments and call it good. That won't work. What we really need is a collective paradigm shift, a different worldview. I suggest we begin first by getting to know ourselves better, nurturing ourselves so we can show up and have healthy relationships with one another, the land, and community. Spend more time outside, go to garden, slow down, meditate, listen. If you have land, put it on an easement. Keep the land out of the speculative market and let someone else find your land. Um, Go out and get Darren Perry's book. It's great. Tending the Sacred, How Indigenous Wisdom Will Save the World. So it's not just a changing what we do and how we act, but how we see things and how we relate. I think that would imagine, Philip, that the people that are coming to live in Riverwood Ranch and these um, communities, they really feel it, and yeah, it's in their bones, it's in their blood, it's in their roots. They want to live this way and be connected to the land, the flood, each other, community. Yeah, so I think it's just a big old shift we got to make. If you don't know Darren, please try to meet him. He's the former chair of the Northwest Band of the Shoshone Nation and a professor at USU. And he speaks to audiences all over the state and beyond and visits young people in schools to tell stories, cultivate kindness, compassion, and offer his perspectives as an Indigenous man. Yeah, this is new territory for how we approach planning and development. There's not a clear roadmap for how it fits into each community. But there are some good examples out there, and I think all we have to do is start talking about it, have good intentions, trust in the process, have an opportunity to get creative here and use these amazing brains we have. True of all things, it will manifest if we make it. Where do you want to put your energy and focus? Out there somewhere, rather than all the drama, greed, and fear on your screens, or in the present, rooted in health and balance? We all need to remember what we focus on is what we attract and see more of. So I invite you now to go forth, focus, be bold, radical, and listen. Thanks.
I have a question for you, Nate.
Yeah.
What do you feel like your biggest accomplishments, Steve, or accomplishments